everybody, welcome to Wetzlar. What we set in this installation is the 11 milestones of Leica camera history. What does that mean? Well, we selected 11 pieces which show important technical steps of development during the last 100 years. Starting just behind you, which is the so-called Ur model, a camera which was not yet a commercial project, which was just a hand sample experimental camera by Oskar Barnack in 1914, just 100 years before. His idea was to use the 35mm film from the Cine camera for a still camera. High precision, high resolution lens was available at Leitz, who was a microscope manufacturer already since 70 years. A full metal body and a focal plane shutter, but which did not self-cap, which means this little cap needed to be set in front of the lens in order to avoid double exposures when you were winding it. We had the First World War, and only 11 years after creating the Ur model, the first commercially produced Leica was introduced in the Leipzig Spring Fair in April 1925. Here we have the Leica Model A, or in German 1A. A camera which still had a fixed to the body lens, but a collapsible lens, so the camera was really compact and easy to be carried around. The focal plane shutter now was the self-capping, so that's why the little cap of the Ur model you don't see anymore. The camera was immediately successful. In the first 5 years of its production, already 50,000 units were sold until the year of 1930, when the next model appeared with the interchangeable lenses. And we take 2 years more and go to 1932. Okay, ich versuch's. Ich hab Netz angewiesen. The next camera I show you, the Leica 2 in 1932. This was a camera which already had not only interchangeable lenses, but which also included an integrated, coupled to the lens rangefinder. So in the moment when you took the measuring with the rangefinder, with the same movement, you set the lens on focus, a principle which is still used in the new or actual Leica M cameras of today. That's why we consider this as a milestone, because really an important technical step of development, the coupled rangefinder in combination with the interchangeable lenses. Here you see an f2.5 lens already, just for example. By 1933 there were already 8 different Leitz lenses available for the Leica. And we take a big jump over the Second World War, going to 1954, when the first Leica M camera, as still you know it today as the MP or the M7, even the digital models, the first camera was the M3. Now you ask me why the M3, and you say the first, the 3 sounds like the third. No, M3 is just a German shortening for the German word Messsucherkamera mit Leuchtrahmen für 3 Brennweiten. I translate rangefinder camera with a built-in bright line finder with 3 frame lines for 3 different focal lengths. The 50, 90 and 135 was already incorporated into the rangefinder system, and major innovations were the rapid winding lever, the speed dial not rotating anymore when the shutter was fired, so it could be coupled with the range, with the light meter, the openable rear door to make loading film much more easy, and the M bayonet, which is still the same M bayonet as on the M cameras of today. So every lens of 1954 M3 and all models after can be used on the new Leica M, as well as every modern Leica M lens like yours can be used on the Leica M3 still. A fully mechanical camera which still can be serviced here in-house at Leica Customer Care up to full working standards, and a very successful camera. In 14 years of its production, almost 250,000 units have been produced. Until 1967, the M4 appeaed. And we go a year further, which is 1968, the Leica-Flex SL. In those years, the 35mm market for cameras was much dominated by the SLR cameras, which were introduced 1959 by Pentax with the Spotmatic. So 1963-64, Leitz already tried with the first model Leica-Flex, and finally in 68 the Leica-Flex SL was launched with the TTL light metering, on which on the screen you could really see exactly the field of the light metering, which was then a precision tool, as people, the photographer could really take exactly a spot metering to his object, and so the SL was quite a very successful camera by this time. And we go to 1984. This is a nice view from here, as this is 30 years after the M3, and still you see it's almost the same camera still, but then there was a light meter also integrated here into the classic Leica M camera without enlarging the size, the dimensions, or even without creating a new design. The light metering TTL included into the classical Leica M body, the Leica M6 of 1984, and still this camera you find as the MP of the actual production. It's almost the camera still in production, which does not need any battery, just for the meter. If you pull out the battery, you still have the M3 or something similar. And in 1996, the Leica R8 was introduced in Leica Solms, then a system SLR camera designed and made in Germany, but still with manual focus, which was a big disadvantage by the time. But finally 2004, Leica created the so-called DMR, which means a system as a digital backpack to be set onto the camera, which made it into a hybrid camera, which is then be used either with the film still or as a digital camera, as preferred, fitting all Leica Flex and Leica R lenses. Same as the Leica S1 of the same year, which was the first digital Leica camera in fact, but a scanner, studio scanner camera, very high resolution, or by the time already 25 million pixel, but a scanning time of up to 180 seconds, so a camera which was not really carried around. Finally in 2006 we have the first digital Leica M camera, the M8. So a camera which still followed the concept of the classical Leica M with the rangefinder, with the M bayonet, as a full digital camera, still with the crop factor, which later turned into the M9 and the actual Leica digital M model. And we have the Leica S2 of 2008. This was then a Leica digital SLR system camera with autofocus. As a medium format camera, sensor 30 by 45 millimeters, so the 70 millimeter here is a standard lens, what normally is the 50. Lenses alternatively available also with a built-in central shutter, enabling flash synchronization up to a 500th of a second.
Political self-consciousness.
And finally, the Leica X1.
It's not at the Marne, it's at the Seine.
First Leica APS-C, compact digital camera, sensor size, which was mostly used for SLR cameras, here in a compact camera, and the newest product you see down the corridor, the Leica T, as you know, as Leica compact system camera with the APS-C format sensor. I hope everything was well understood. So if there are any questions, please ask me. We are a bit in a time pressure. I didn't know this morning there were 10 groups following one after each other, so we take 5 to 10 minutes each, but don't hesitate to come back later or to ask me any questions.
Well,
thank you very much.
Will this installation be permanent, or is it going to change?
This will be permanent, the same as the Leica family tree down the black corridor just behind you, sir. While the area in front here with the other displays will be a changing exhibition. We will have a 60 years of Leica M following in November.